Righto, welcome to another edition of the Inside Ball. We're previewing this weekend's games in Vegas. Bill, we've both been to Vegas. We know all about that. So there's a couple of big games over there. And also, we'll get some little tips around who we think's going to win this weekend. You might want to stay out of that, but I can certainly give my opinion on who I think is going to win. But anyway, we'll get to that, eh?
That's what I'm here for. Give my 2 cents. So you want me to sit here and be quiet?
2 cents? Is that all you got? Surely you got more than that. That
That's
big
all
contract.
you're paying me. That's all you're paying me to come on here. So.
Now, who's dressing you today? You got some freebies on again. What do you got?
I will give Renault a shout out. AR, good clothing line.
Yeah.
He looks after the boys, Renault. So
Billy has got a father. You could send some over. Do you do Kev sizes or what?
Well,
What's
he's
going
the
on?
same size as you, so it'd be right.
I should
Kid's
be right.
12, it'll be right.
And what about the hat? What's happening?
Oh yeah,
there?
Moreno. They had to buy this one, unfortunately, but that's all right. They're still a good
and your shorts, where'd you get them from?
Oh, Daniel Patrick. Talking about Vegas, actually, I wore them just for today because I got these when we played over there.
Right. And I didn't get a pair of them either. So
I see. So
anyway, that's all good. No, Bill, you're not just a footy player these days. You've got a little side hustle going, haven't you?
Yeah, I've
Clutch
tried to
Club.
start something. Yeah, Clutch Club. Keeping me busy while I'm injured, I guess, off field. And
So what are you selling, clutches, or what are you doing?
I wish. It's a sports members club, so you sign up, become a member, and you get access to discounts on some brands around Australia. And we're also doing 2 giveaways a month. So last month was a Garmin giveaway, and we do the big giveaway, which is your flights, tickets, and accommodation package to big sporting events around the world in Australia. So
have you given away any prizes just yet, or?
Yeah, we've given a couple away. Most people, so we usually do the package to the event or $10,000 cash, and a few people. The economy these days, they're taking the cash, but our next one is, the biggest weekend in rugby league when all 16 teams come to, well, not all 16, one misses out, but 16 teams come to Suncorp, and you can win tickets to every day and flights and accommodation all covered, and we're also trying to raise funds for charity. So this month is Beyond Blue that we're supporting. So
So exciting. How do I become a member of the Clutch Club? Yeah,
go to clutchclub.com.au, or you can hit us up on the Instagram page, and there's a few packages there you can choose from. And
So what membership starts from what? How much?
From about $25, and it goes up to 100 and different levels. But it's exciting.
Yeah,
we're capping this one at 250 entrants too. So good chance to win.
Righto. Okay, well, so you sign up at clutchclub.com.au.
Get around it.
Let's go. So how's your week been the last couple of days? All right?
Yeah, not too bad. Been back running on the field again. We had a first time running in boots yesterday with a bit of change of direction. Nothing too crazy, but just another little box to tick off, I guess. So it's exciting. Just moving forward.
Very good. Righto. Let's just update everyone with a bit of, not so much news, but Nathan Cleary, he got off. Does that surprise you from the other day?
Not so much. When I went back and watched it after we actually filmed this one, I was originally said that I didn't think he was going to get off, but when I watched it back, it wasn't as bad as what.
There's nothing in the tackle.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy that he got the 2 weeks to begin with, but it's good for rugby league. I mean, as a Bronx fan, we probably don't want him playing, so we can give it to those Panthers. But I'm not playing, so I'm a fan, so I'm glad the best players are playing.
Yeah, well, you want to, particularly round one, you want the best players available, to be there. And it's Friday. It's going to be a blockbuster, that one on the Friday night. But his father, he's very smart, Ivan, got him off. And some of the things that he sort of put forward to the judiciary was the initial contact was at the shoulder, not at the head, which I'd agreed with. And there was no real malice. Like, if you know Nathan Cleary, like we all do, like he hasn't got a malicious bone in his body, and also he's the professional attitude that he brings. I think it's a great decision from the panel, and it's great that he'll be playing for the Panthers in round one.
It's good to have a dad that defends you like that. You'd do that for me, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I brought my children up to be good, clean rugby league players, and you're one of them. So
the problem is that.
You've been sin binned or ever sent off ever?
Funny story, actually. I was talking to Jock Madden when I was at the Tigers. We were playing together at the Tigers, and he asked me one day if I'd ever been sin binned before, and I said nah. And then I got sin binned twice in the next 3 games, and the timing was impeccable. But they were just professional fouls. They were just the ones where you lie on them when they've made a break or whatever. But
okay.
Wasn't on purpose. I was just too tired to get up off the tackle. So.
Righto, that's all good. A couple of other news around. Mitch Barnett, it's on the open market. He's been released. On compassionate grounds by the Warriors, and they're looking for some compensation for this, which I agree with.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, by all accords, he's got a sick son, I think. So, I mean, if it was me, I'd want to be close to my family if one of my kids were pretty sick. So, understandable, and it's understandable and reasonable from the Warriors to want something in return. I thought we might be a chance of getting him to the Broncos, but I think if they want a player in return, I don't see the Broncos, after losing Payne, wanting to give up another player.
Well, it might not necessarily be.
Yeah, true. It might not be a front
it could be an outside back.
Yeah, I guess so.
There's lots of options there because the Broncos have got some pretty good depth there. But I believe he'll end up at Newcastle, surely.
Yeah, you'd think so.
That's where his family is, around that area. And, the most important thing in life is your family.
Yeah.
And, we're very fortunate with our family, but I'm sure there's lots of families out there that don't have that support around them, people with jobs and moving all around the world. So, I think it's a great gesture from the Warriors, and they probably deserve some compensation for it as well, whether it's a financial compensation or a player swap.
Yeah, and they've always been pretty good at that, the Warriors. I remember with Walshy, they did the same thing. So
that turned out okay for the Warriors and also, for the Broncos.
Definitely turned out good for us.
Parramatta, still in the headlines.
Yep.
Zach Lomax. Right, that's going on with the Supreme Court. Now that's going to be pushed out to March. You reckon this will be a distraction for the Eels? Because I feel like maybe it could be, because he was a former player there. He's not obviously playing there now and won't ever go back there and play. But the Eels, I watched them in the trials. They look pretty good. I think they can push their way into the 8. But if they just keep all this off-field drama at bay, that's what they need to do. What's your thoughts around that?
Yeah, it probably comes to a point where you probably don't want to deal too much with the off-field drama. I mean, it's probably one of the only good things about Payne and Renault is they got it done at the start of the year. We're not going to be wondering all year whether Payne's going to re-sign or if he's going to leave or if Renault's going to go again. So they've put it out there and it's behind us now. We just focus on the year. So, I mean, I'm not sure what Parramatta's plans are, but what'd you say? In March, his thing is he's caught. So
March.
We got the Storm round 3. So as long as Lomax isn't playing then for the Storm.
Well, just on the injury side of things, some clubs are starting the year right without some of their key players, and we know you're not there at the Broncos. You're not back till round 20. Is there anyone else sort of? Brendan
Piakura is going to miss probably round 1. He's trying to push for round 1. He only just ran for the first time yesterday, so I think he'll be touch and go for round 1. But
everybody else is fit.
Everyone else is fit and firing. I'm pretty sure. Muddy had his HIA, but I think he's he'll be fine to go. He'll just do a little bit of contact next week to make sure he's all good, and then he'll be right to go.
You got the Rabbitohs with Brandon Smith. He's got a calf injury.
Yeah, I saw that this morning actually.
It's unknown. All right. Also at the Rabbitohs, Jai Arrow's got a shoulder injury. That's a bit unknown. Jamie Humphries he's suspended. He's out till round 3. The Sharks, the Dolphins have got some. Isaiah Katoa limped off training the other day. He's
all right. Yeah, that's a big one.
For round 1. The Panthers, well, they've got Cleary back, but he was looking, to be not quite so good. The Sharks have got some injuries with Cameron McInnes not starting the year. I saw
Mulatalo's still out for a bit too.
Ronaldo Mulatalo. I saw him down there on the weekend. He's looking fit and healthy, but he's not starting the year off as well. And the Dolphins, Max Plath, Jeremy Marshall-King, Jack Bostock still out. The Storm, Jack Howarth, Trent Loiero, and Xavier Coates is missing for some time. So the Roosters, the list goes on. There's so many players not starting the year, which is
it's a bit of a weird one. Usually,
even Reece Robson broke his thumb.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of
training.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on at training. The boys just
Victor Radley's going to be out for a bit, so a lot of teams have been disrupted. The Warriors have got Mitch Barnett not playing, Luke Metcalf not playing, Tamare Martin not playing, Rocco Berry not playing. So every club's pretty much got its problems here. So maybe that's a training load thing or just a carryover from last year, but not good when you can't start the season with your best 17. That's never a good thing. Righto, Vegas time, Bill.
Yes.
Hull are playing Leeds Rhinos in the warm-up game for the big NRL stuff. But, right, first game, Knights up against the Cowboys. Now, we're going to do a bit of a detailed report here because we only got the 2 games. So we'll let our podcast listeners get some insight here into the preparation for game 1 and how we think the game's going to sort of unfold. Right, just some I love my
stats, Kev. Right? You love the stats.
I love my stats. The Knights haven't beaten the Cowboys since 2021.
Yep. Okay.
That's 5 years.
It's a long time.
That's a fair crack. So they might have a little bit of a swing on them as far mental capacity somewhere. I don't know, but that's That's a pretty damning stat for them. The Knights have lost their last NRL game. So they finished the season last year losing 9 in a row.
Yeah.
That's never good, is it?
No, it's not. But I suppose it's a fresh year. And I find a lot of times when I hear these stats, especially when it's around the teams I'm in, we seem to break. I remember there was those big stats on Melbourne Storm, how we hadn't beat them in so many years, and we beat them in that final series. So these stats are made to be broken.
26-0, just to remind all those Storm fans.
It's a new year though. Knights got Dylan Brown there now, so you never know about the Cowboys. Geez, they can score some points. So.
What do you take into trial form? You're a current player.
It's good to blow the cobwebs out and try and get a bit of match fitness, because you can do as much running as you want in the preseason, but
the actual contact and
off
the ground after making a tackle and wrestling and
it's very hard to replicate, and you don't want to go too hard when you're doing your scrimmaging at training, because like you said, you get those injuries. So, but it's good to blow the cobwebs out. But I wouldn't take into. I mean, a lot of teams play their best team for 25, 30 minutes, if that. Yeah. So,
if we're going on trial form, the Knights will lose because their trial form was poor. It was terrible. Right, it was terrible. But I'm like you. I take no notice of trial form.
Yeah.
No Ponga either.
Yeah.
He's been named at fullback. That's a massive in for the Knights. Yeah. Right. He hasn't played since round 17 of last year, which is a big out. Fletcher Sharp is the 5'8". Dylan Brown is playing 7. Does that surprise you with Dylan Brown? I thought he plays more like a 6.
Yeah, it surprised me a little bit. I thought maybe Sandon Smith might have been their 7.
Well, he's in the 14,
player, but I can see how they put him on the bench. He can kind of cover a lot of positions, and he was a bit of an impact player for the Roosters last year, so he's a handy player to have. And but I suppose a lot of the responsibilities on Dylan Brown. They paid the big money for him, so
No, I think, and Dylan Brown's very important to that side, but Kalen Ponga is a lot like Reece Walsh to the Broncos. Those fullbacks, the number ones. I did read a stat somewhere the other day that 17 of the last 20 premiership teams, the fullback in that side has played State of Origin that year.
Wow, there you go. That's a big one.
So I think just a couple, Benny Barber was one at Cronulla when he was there. Luke Patton. Clinton Shivkovsky. There you go. They're coming everywhere, right? So, but the current New South Wales and Queensland fullbacks have all won premierships.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. Ponga hasn't won a premiership yet.
Are you trying to tell me the Bronx can't win it this year if Ponga's going to be fullback for the?
No. The Bronx. No.
Queensland.
No. Reece Walsh will be the fullback. But I'm saying the Broncos are one of those sides that they're in contention. Yeah, so you're ready to go, and so. There's a lot of them. Storm, no. See, Farlungo hasn't played State of Origin.
Yeah. Is he eligible? I don't think he is he? He's a Victorian kid.
Yeah, so even the new rules won't accommodate him, so he could be. So look out for this. The other big stat while we're on it, and Vegas, no team has played in Vegas and gone on to win the premiership. There's only been 8 teams, but
yeah. Well,
the Panthers went
everyone
last year.
Everyone will probably rely on Penrith to break that rule last year.
So, anyway, good luck with that stat as well. Back to the footy, Bill.
Yes.
Tom Chester. What do you know about Tommy Chester? He's back 18 months out of the game with knee.
Yeah, all I know about poor old Tommy is he's been a bit injury-prone the last couple of years, the poor fella. So
he's good to go on the centres. Hasn't played since round 17 of 2024. That's about 18 months. Jake Clifford and Tom Dearden in the halves. I like their combo.
Yeah.
Their trial form was good, but again, trial form, we sort of don't take a lot of notice. But the one I want to talk about more than anyone is Reid Marnie.
Yeah.
I like him as a footballer.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good pickup for the Cows.
I think he's perfect for their system and what they're doing.
Yeah.
He gets in your face and in your grill.
You
had a run in with him. One year, you pulled his headgear off.
No, Belmore, yeah. That was when the try celebrations were on and he knocked the ball out when I was trying to take a selfie.
Oh, that's right. You were trying to take
it.
You know what? I don't blame him.
Yeah. He's just said before, you're meant to be sticking up for your son. Like, you look, Cleary.
You went to get a photo with the...
Oh, raising money for charity. Is that okay. You don't like raising money for charity?
Right.
Sorry,
right.
Kev.
But you can understand his anger and his frustration. But I reckon he'll be one of the pickups of the season.
He's a good footy player. Everyone gets a bit distracted with, the way he sometimes can carry on a little bit on the field. But he's a good footy player, and a lot of people forget that he's one of the few hookers left in the game that can play the whole 80 minutes and be a good player that whole 80 minutes. And I think he was a really good pickup. So
I think that's what he missed more. His frustration last year at the Bulldogs was one, not being picked, and two, when he was picked, not playing
very limited minutes.
So and I wonder, because the Bulldogs, they're over there at the moment, aren't they? In Vegas.
Yeah.
I wonder how they're obviously playing each other.
And whatever.
Yeah.
if he's still...
But he looks ready to go, and I reckon he's a key signing for mine for the Cowboys. Righto, how's this going to play out, you reckon? Knights with Ponga at fullback?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. They've both got a lot of strike in throughout their team, and look, I don't... As a bit of Queensland rivalry, I don't like when the Cowboys win, but I feel like they're probably going to win this game.
Well, they are the favourites.
Yeah. I just think they've just got too much strike, and I'm sure the tough pre-season up north is going to have them pretty ready to go, and I think they'll be a hard team to beat for the Knights, but you never know. Rugby league's a funny game. I think we spoke a couple times about that first 5 rounds, how there's always upsets throughout the weekend, so you can never know.
Right. For mine, I reckon the Knights will exploit they've got 2 new edge players, right, at the 4 ends, right? They got Lukey, who hasn't played for a long. He's played trials, and a very good player. But into the cauldron of Vegas and the edges, particularly with Ponga, and McIntyre hasn't played a lot of edge defence either. So if there is a weakness there in these opening rounds. It's that combination of the edges for the Cowboys, and we do know the Cowboys. Defensively last year they had some good matches, but also some games where they probably weren't at their best. So for mine, that's the big danger for the Cowboys, and the way where the Knights can exploit a bit is that edge defence. Yep. And for North Queensland, I like Marnie and just playing off him through the middle. So I feel their best opportunity to win the game will be playing through the middle. Jason Tomalolo coming through the middle, Cohen Hess, these sort of guys, I reckon can really put some pressure on the Knights' defence.
Yeah, so, big forward pack, and that's how you bring Drinky into the game. That's how you bring Tommy Dearden in the game.
Yeah, but Tommy loves
break them down through the middle. Yeah, and you get the ruck speed going and the fast play the balls, and that's when they're the most dangerous. So. Yeah,
and Reid Marnie, that plays into his hands as his big strength.
Yeah, threats everywhere for the Cowboys, which is what you want.
I noticed him in the trials. He's very good with his pass selection on who gets the ball, whether it's
a very crisp pass too, which is very important.
These sort of fellas. So he's got some good options there, and he normally makes the right one, if not himself as well. So I'm going to tip the Cowboys on that one too. I think they're after both teams are desperate to start the season well. So, but I just think the Cowboys, just with their continuity of team more so than the Knights, will get that one. But it won't be all their way. All right. So we're both tipping the Knights there. The Cowboys.
Cows.
Right, Bulldogs, Dragons.
Yeah, another cracking game.
Yeah, Steve Crichton, he's back. He missed a bit of the back end of last year. Lachlan Galvin, Matt Burton in the halves for the Bulldogs, up against Cole Flanagan and Dan Atkinson, the new signing from Cronulla. Right. How do you think this one's going to play out, Bill?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think the Bulldogs have come off a big year, and it can be hard sometimes to back that up, but I think they've got the right players, and I think in a good coach there with Ciraldo, I think they'll be able to back it up. The Dragons obviously got that.
What about their defence? What do you think?
It was
the best defensive team last year.
Yeah. I mean,
what do they put? Explain to the people at home what they do to you with their defence.
It was weird last year. Speaking of like from experience. We got them on an off game at Suncorp when we first played them. They were on a 9-game winning streak or something like that, and everyone was talking up their defence. And I think we were winning 36-0 or something at halftime in the wet. But the second time we played them, they strangled us for about 60 minutes, and we managed to come over the top of them in the end. But they're just a lot like Penrith. They've obviously got a lot of former Penrith players and coaches, and it's pretty hard to learn, but they seem to be getting better at it. And instead of just making a decision to jam or not, they're kind of letting the play unfold and trying to defend and move on the pass, which is really hard to do, but they seem to be getting it right more often than not. So it can be really hard. You're trying to... They look like they give you space on the edge, but they just move together as a team and as a unit, and it's hard to break down.
Well, it's not that hard if you're really smart with your football, right? And the Dragons need to be smart and just play through the middle on the Bulldogs. They want you to shift the ball and try and go around them, and it makes it very difficult, but they need to play through the middle, the Dragons. That's what I believe. That's their biggest chance to win. And then once they get some ruck dominance and through the middle, they got Holmes and Moses Suli and Tupulotu are all very capable of creating try-scoring opportunities. So Gutherson at the back, very experienced fullback. So play through the middle, Dragons, if you want to beat the Bulldogs. And the Bulldogs, well, they're just going to choke them with their defence. And that comes errors. Errors become points. So they need to show. I watched the Dragons down in on Fox, their last trial game before they left. And obviously their mind was on Vegas, but their middle forwards need to be better for them to create some speed, some ruck speed. You're pretty fortunate where you are with the middle forwards you got, but the Dragons' young forwards are there, but they got to stand up. And I think it's time for them to do that, and give Atkinson and Cole Flanagan and the like some time to actually, do some stuff. So I think we're both going to go for the Bulldogs there, are we?
Yeah, I think so. I think Bulldogs just got too much strike. Stephen Crichton there, I forget how big he is. Every time I see him in person, you forget how big and strong he is and how athletic he is. So he's a huge threat, and it'd be interesting to see how Lockie Galvin goes. A lot of pressure on him last year coming in to a winning team midway through the year, but now he's had full preseason with his new team, and he is a good player, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Righto,
it's come to the Clear Mountain Fairview. Now, this Clear Mountain Fairview, they're a horse stud up near Toowoomba, right? They've come on board with us. Mick Frappel is their... Well, Bob Frappel is the owner, right? And Mick's the son. Now, he's got into horse training as well. He had a couple of winners that we mentioned last week on the podcast, but everything that they race comes from born and bred at Clearview. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take the cameras up there and we're going to spend some time at the stud, getting to know the horses.
You're good with horses, aren't you, Kev? You love them?
I love horses. I love all animals, and particularly...
Well, you love your dog more than you love all your sons and your daughters.
No, well, that's not true. That's not true, mate. But the Magic Millions sale is coming up, right? In March, on the 13th and 14th, there are 12 yearlings for sale. The Magic Millions March sale. Get down there and see the team at Clear Mountain Fairview. Maybe there might be an opportunity to invest in some horses, I've invested in horses in the past and done well. It's good fun amongst mates.
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of your teammates have invested in...
Yeah, for sure. Can't tell you off the top of my head, but yeah, it would be.
We don't need names. But anyway, Clear Mountain Fairview are the ones that are going to help us get onto some decent yearlings and get the thrill of owning a racehorse.
Yes.
Bring it to life.
Yes.
That's what we're going to do. Right, so with that in mind, who will be your standout player this week in Vegas?
Yes.
Who's going to be the difference?
The difference. A lot of great
players.
Clear
Mountain Fairview difference. Yes. Who's it going to be?
A lot of great players over there, but I can't go past Scott Drinkwater, I think.
Drinky?
Yeah. We harped on about the fullbacks, and he's another one that's huge for his team. And when he's on and he can set up tries left, right and centre. So I think he's going to have a huge game over there and get the Cowboys over the line.
Right. Just for the fans at home, when you're playing on that shorter field, because the dimensions are about 2 metres narrower, which is only about a metre than normal.
Yeah.
Does it feel like it's a tighter stadium, or it just feels like normal?
So I remember before we played, I didn't think it was going to make a difference. But once we started playing, you just found when you were running shape, it's hard in the NRL. You got to work for every inch, and a metre difference is huge. Especially for wingers trying to finish off in the corners. And
so that's what I'm just alarming you here. You've gone for Drinky for the Clearview Mountain, but the field's narrower.
Yeah.
So Drinky little...
we'll see.
You got to play through.
I'll come back on next week and we'll be talking about how good Drinky went. So
righto, there he is. He's your man, Scott Drinkwater. There you go. Now, before we go, we're going to get an update from Dobbo, who is in Vegas and on the ground. Let's cross over to him right now, Bill. G'day, Ben. How are you, mate?
Welcome to our podcast, mate.
Yeah, that's good, Billy. Yeah, you keep on wide-handing, mate. We can all do that. Hello, Kevin. Hello, Bill.
Ben.
Yeah, look, has been a very good day. It's starting to ramp up. I would have said yesterday Vegas was very quiet. It's Wednesday evening here. I've got the Wynn Hotel in the backdrop. What I can tell you is that we've just had the captain's launch at Zook nightclub. Billy knows Zook all too well because that's where he and they all had a bit of a dust up afterwards at the nightclub afterwards.
Yeah, there's a veteran there.
Yeah, we just seen and look, the English Leeds captain and the Hull KR captain, their fans travelling. And Hull KR have got 6,000 members here. And the singing in that nightclub as the launch, unbelievable what the English bring. But look, it's starting to feel like round one is only 4 days away. And the team's had a big hit out today. The Cowboys had a semi-opposed session against Hull KR. Leeds are obviously been doing some training with St George. But you can just feel it. There's a lot at riding on this first game with the Cowboys taking on Newcastle, and some selection shocks are still going to come into play.
Yeah, just on that quickly, the fans spoke to a few of the boys and asked how the atmosphere was over there, and they said it was probably just as loud as when they played Penrith at Suncorp last year. They said it was crazy, and although they were getting sprayed for 75 minutes of the game, they said it was unreal. So the English fans, they know how to support their teams. Yeah,
well, there's plenty coming over here. Yeah, it's interesting to know that, like the Cowboys have got 3,500 members coming here as well. They gave a big Tommy Dearden, obviously, and we put a photo. I put a photo up on our Inside Ball Instagram. Tommy Dearden got a huge cheer from the crowds. But look, it's all about now we're getting down to round one. And like I said to Todd Payton today, what are you doing with Matt Lodge wearing 21? And he said, do you think we'd fly him all the way over here not to play him? So that gives you a fair indication that, there might be some changes to these sides as we get a little closer.
Well, Dobbo, we just did a preview of the games, and part of the psych, I believe that the Cowboys, if they can muster some ruck speed and they've got to play through the middle, and I feel if they can do that, Matt Lodge, like 20 minutes or 10 minutes either side of half time, he could be a real threat for any defence because he's a big, powerful unit. He takes some stopping.
Kevie, you should be coaching a first-grade side, mate. Todd Payton literally said to me 20 minutes ago, the difference between Reece Robson and Reed Marnie is that Reed Marnie, he just wants quick play the ball and service to these forwards and to the backs, whereas Reece was always wanting to run. Both good footballers in their own right, but he said what Reed Marnie has done for this side, just the selflessness as a footballer, and it's exactly what you said, quick ruck speed, and that's the way they're going to play. They haven't got the big boppers, though. Tell that to Cohen Hess, who's a big fella, and Jason Tamalolo, and then you bring Lodge off the bench and Helam Lukey back. I think, look, the Newcastle Knights are rank outsiders. I'm not writing them off, but what Reed Marnie has brought to this side from what Todd Payton just said has been quite unbelievable this off-season.
Well, you can tell with the energy as well, Dobbo, that I've seen a few clips and the like of him training and him speaking with reporters. He just brings so much energy to the side, and that's around your number 9. That's a key position, obviously, in the game. And if your 9's bringing that, that's always a good sign for the rest of the team. What about the other match, Dobbo? What are you picking up there?
Oh, look, everybody's riding off St George, and
Billy and I have. We put a line through them.
Have you? You Casamui them already? That's good.
No, not Casamui, but just for
this week. Just for this week. Look, I don't know. I mean, yes, they're outsiders. Yes, their trial form's been poor, but like when you look at it, I mean, Haywood, Galvin, Burton and Connor Tracy as your spine. I mean, everybody's talking up the Dogs, and yes, they're a well-coached side, but I mean, that spine's not, to me, winning a comp at the moment. That's the honest truth. And when you compare them to other spines, but look, St George are rank outsiders. I just think that game's going to be closer than you think. I'm not prepared to write off the Knights either, if I'm honest with you, against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think this other game it'll be a little different. But St George, they've still got the Jaden Sewers. They've still got Clint Gutherson. Josh Kerr's making his debut. They've got plenty of strike. They've got pace as well. Val, it's very, very difficult at this moment to know what the right direction is. But my understanding is that the Dogs are very confident.
Righto. Now, I understand you've been very busy over there. Did you get a chance to get down to Cowboys training? Sorry, not Cowboys, the Dragons training, because Valentine Holmes, he's swapping sides from the centre position. Is that he's going over to the right side?
Right side. Yeah, that's true. I didn't see that, but I was speaking to the Dragons a little earlier, and they're shifting that. So it'll be interesting to see how that works for them. But clearly, they're obviously very confident in what they've got. They've got some good young talent coming through. They're a young forward pack as well, Kev. I look at those young blokes. They're going to need a bloke like Blocker Laurie, who's coming off the bench, to really step in. And, we know he's a cold hero for me on inside ball, Blocker Laurie. We love Blocker Laurie. Yeah. But I just think that, it might be a bridge too far. I'm not prepared to write them off like that, but they're not winning the comp either this season, if I'm honest with you. I'll call it now.
No, they're not winning the comp, but it's only round one. They've got to win round one.
They could go to Koh Samui yet. And it could be early. It could be early, Kev.
Right. Outside of the footy, mate, what have you been up to? What's your entertainment?
Well, I might have gone to the Golden Steer Steakhouse last night, the oldest steakhouse in Vegas. A little dusty this morning. Tomorrow, though, you'll be very proud of me. The Nugget Challenge. McDonald's here in Las Vegas is the only buffet Macca's in the world, and we're going to try and raise the bet tomorrow. 100 nuggies. It's early in the week, so if we can raise the bet on 100 nuggets, so we're going to try and have a go. You know, we've got other blokes to try and have a crack at pancakes. We're going to have a go James Graham Might nuggets tomorrow, all thanks to Macca's.
Good on you, Dobbo. Stay safe, mate, and we'll talk to you. Well, we'll see you. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you next Monday here on the potty.
Yeah, you will see me. Looking forward to it. See you, boys.
See you, mate.
There he is, Ben Dobbin, live from Vegas. And what a challenge he's got in front of him, Bill. 100 nuggets.
100 nuggets. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a crack at that too, to be honest.
You used to love your nuggets. You still love them.
Nah, I don't eat that anymore.
No, look at you, ripped up, ready to go.
Can't be putting that in my body.
Righto, that's the Inside Ball podcast for this week. Have a great weekend. Vegas is the big show. It's on Sunday. We'll have all reports next week on the Inside Ball podcast. See you then.